Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the Patreons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it, guys. And of course we already have leak lists coming, so we are just getting started, of course, on one of the most awaited patches of the year. The last patch of the year is normally one of the largest ones, if not the largest every year, sorry. And also this means a lot of things are added, and with that a lot of leak lists starts to appear. Last patch, I don't know if it was last patch or the patch before, we had a leak list that got like 90% right. This does not mean that anything that we see over here is right or not, okay? It's just to have fun, so let's take a look and try to just have a little bit of fun talking about the quote-unquote leak lists that are appearing, right? So the first one was kind of a big one. So aviation, we have the F-15C MSIP, we have the F4F ICE for the Germans, the Su-27 for the Russians, the Gripen C for South Africa, and the Sea Harrier FHU for the British, F-15J for the Japanese, J-10A and J-11B, which is quite amusing that you would see two Chinese aircraft being added like this. The Gripen C and the MiG-29 912A as a sub-tree for the Italians, as the Hungarian sub-tree. Nothing for the French. Gripen C for the Swedish. F-15C for the Israelis as well. For the missiles, the AIM-120A and B for, the US, Germany, UK, Japan, China, the Italians, Swedish, and the Israelis. Of course, the R-77 for both the Russians and the Chinese, the PL-12 for the Chinese, and the Mika for the French. For ground, they say about the M1, the Abrams FV2, right? The Leopard 2 PSOVT, Puma Spike LR, T-90M, Ajax AFE, Type 95 Hago, which is quite funny. I think we already have that one, but yeah, MBT 3000, Santaro Draco, VBCI 2, Bushmaster 25, STRV 122B+, the Pere, I don't know what that is, USS North Carolina, the Tirpitz, Smolensk, and the Prince of Wales, and finally the IGN Yay, I think. So let's talk a little bit about it. So a lot of people are kind of hopeful, I think. If you create this type of thing and you include, this is like 99% fake, right? Obviously people want to get their attention, and to be honest, these videos don't help too much on that, but still I think it's fun to actually talk about it. But the J-10A and the J-11, remember the J-11 is an Su-27 basically, made in China, and the J-10 is one of the main light fighters of China as well today, right? So it is a very, very interesting concept that they would receive two very advanced aircraft like that. I really doubt it. Don't expect, guys, to have more than 3 or 4 new top tier aircraft types, you know. So for example, if they do add the F-15, yes, 3 nations would receive it. If they do add the Gripen, yes, technically 3 nations can receive it as well. Probably just 1, but still, it could come for more than 1. So that would be 2, right? But then add the Su-27, the J-10, the J-11, and also the F4F ICE together with a new MiG-29. I think it's just too much. So I don't think this is right. I don't think this is correct, just because there's too many aircraft, okay? And there is another interesting concept, the Gripen C for the UK. I guess as a South African vehicle, but wouldn't they just add the Eurofighter first? It would be very, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. UK receiving the Gripen before the Eurofighter. The Eurofighter is a much more, reliable platform for the UK, I think. But still, it would be cool. For the missiles, it just makes sense. I think this is a very good guess. AIM-120s, R-77s, PL-12s, and the Mika for everybody. So yeah, it makes sense. The ground, I just think it's a very good guess. It would make sense to see the SEP-V2, the T-90M, or maybe some other tanks like that. A new Leopard 2 PSO that was kind of confirmed that something is coming, right? The Gripen as well is kind of like, you know, it might be coming. So I just find it a very, very funny leak list. Too many vehicles. So if you're listening to this and you've done this one, take it down a little bit. You know, it's too much, man. The guesses are too much, too high. You know, it's too many aircraft, too many tanks, too many everything. Yes, I think it's going to be a very large patch, but not this big. Then we have this one. So the December patch BVR AAM fighter list. So this would be the aircraft that would receive the Fox 3 missiles. So an F-15C being added with it, F-16C with it, F4F ICE being added with it, Yak 141 that is already in the game, and the SMT already in the game with R-77s, Su-27 with R-77s. That would be needed to be at least a very late S variant of the Su-27. A Tornado F3 CSP, I mean a Tornado F3 with an AIM-120 or something like that, it would make sense. So yeah, F-15J, F-15 AMLU, J8F, F-16 AADF, AV-8B+, Mirage 2000-5F, the J837D, and the Gripen with this RB99s, right? And then the F-15C AKF for the Israelis. So I think it's kind of pushing a little bit, but I gotta be honest, this one is a little bit more realistic. A new Tornado with AIM-120s, a Gripen, I mean, that makes it makes a lot of sense, you know. Then we have the Su-27. I don't know, I don't think so. I mean, it could be a thing, but I would be kind of surprised. The F4F ICE would make a lot of sense. And the F-15C, I mean, it would surprise me a little bit as well. So the only things that are, I mean, kind of reaching a little bit would be the Su-27 and F-15C, but the rest, it makes a lot of sense. And then we have the last one, the December ground content leak list over here. RDF LT event, Skink, Hispano Suiza, a new version of it with different cannons, right? Leopard 2A6EX, a Boxer, T-80 BVM 2023, the BMPT Terminator, a new Challenger, ZBD-04A, Draco, and the Sabra Mark 1. So all of these vehicles, there are some guesses over here, I think. But the majority of them, like the T-80 BVM, for example, it was already found in the files. The Leopard 2A6, there are confirmation that they are working on a new Leopard 2 for top tier Germany anyway. So it would make sense, right? So I don't know, I just think that these three are good guesses. The first one is really optimistic. The guy that did that probably, I mean, it might be a very out there, you know, kind of situation that it's so out there that it might be true, you know. But in my opinion, he just overdid it. There's no patch that we like ever had that had these many vehicles in it, different models of vehicles, you know. So don't expect to have these many vehicles, like 5, 6 new models of jet aircraft for like close to top tier vehicles. We never had that many. Even in the last patch of the last year, remember, we had technically just 3 main jet aircraft being added. The F-16, the MiG-29, and the Tornado. So expect something like that. 3 or 4 aircraft divided in many countries with probably a lot of missiles being added with the Fox 3s. That's what I expect. So if you did that, kind of optimistic, I think. The other ones, they're more realistic on the sense that if you watched Gaijin adding just everything on the game, it makes sense that not a lot of new things, but some new things with a lot of new missiles or anything like that would make sense. And the tanks just kind of makes sense because they kind of already confirmed some of them, and some of the others are just in the files and stuff, so it makes sense. Anyway, let me know in the comments what do you think about these leak lists, and I see you guys on the next one.